Good evening. Today is March 6th, 2024. This is the Select Board meeting. May I have a roll call, please?
J.C. Moss, present.
Joe Shank, present.
Chad Sexton-Duranian, present. I'd like to call the meeting to order. 1.2, I'd like to do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to thank all those in service, both past and present, and our first responders. Thank you for your service. The meeting is being recorded, and we are having difficulties getting it up live. Once they figure that out, it will go live as soon as it will be, but it will be recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube. 1.4, Chairman's additions and deletions.
Mr. Chairman, if I can interrupt real quick.
Absolutely.
I apologize. I think that in an abundance of caution, due to what looks like we left out some information on the executive sessions, we may need to delete both of the executive sessions this evening.
Okay.
In an abundance of caution. I just don't want to, I don't want us to run afoul of an open meeting law for not posting sufficient time for people for those executive sessions.
Okay. So we are going to be deleting 6.1 and 6.1 number 2.
Yeah, 6.1 number 1 and 6.1 number 2.
Number 2, okay.
Thank you. I apologize for the interruption.
Okay. And that's all I would have then. Teresa, do you have anything?
No, sorry, I do not.
Joe?
No, I'm good. Thank you, Chess.
Okay. We'll jump right into 2.1. This is going to be a joint meeting with the Townsend representative of North Middlesex Regional School District School Committee to appoint Will Hackler to the North Middlesex Regional School District Committee as Townsend representative, effective 3/6/2024. And I did see Jessica on there. Hi, Jessica.
Good evening.
So Eric, she's, I don't think you guys need to open the meeting or anything, right? We're just, she's presenting and.
Jess is here to participate in the vote. The way that the charter reads, she's part of the voting body on whether or not we're going to appoint Mr. Hackler as the representative. So.
Okay. And we have received everything in regards to the position. So I would entertain a motion to appoint Will Hackler as to the North Middlesex Regional School District Committee as Townsend representative, effective 3/6/2024 until annual election on April 22nd, 2024.
Yeah.
It's incorrect. That is supposed to be until April 28th of 2025 for the conclusion of Susan Robbins' term.
Okay.
Yeah, and it does say that in the minutes. I think you just read it.
I have the old minutes, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the new agenda has the correct term. So it's till April 28th, 2025.
Right, so.
Correct.
Then I will amend my motion to read until annual election of April 2025. 28?
Yes.
No, April 28th, 2025. Not 2028.
One more time, until annual election, April 28th, 2025.
So moved.
So moved. Oh, second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this?
No, I'm just curious how excited you are, Will.
I would consider the return to be, for Mrs. Robbins and all the work that she's done. I do it in her honor.
Oh, nice.
You got big shoes to fill there. I actually was on
I
the
will
board.
not fill them. I will not fill her shoes at all. I just, I'll do the best that I can in her honor.
That's wonderful.
Thank you, Will.
All right. So if there's nothing else, all those in favor?
Teresa A. Marsh, yes?
Joe Shank, yes?
Jessica Funioli, yes?
Chad Sexton-Duranian, yes. It is unanimous, Will.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your service.
No.
Thanks, Jessica.
Okay, thanks, you guys. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night. All right, I'm gonna jump down to our appointments at 6:30, so I'm gonna go to the appointments of officials, Eric. 3.1, I'll entertain a motion to appoint Derek Clement to the American Flag Committee effective 3/6/2024 for a term to expire 6/30/2025.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Everything is in order as far as the paperwork is concerned. So all those in favor?
Teresa A. Marsh, yes?
Joe Shank, yes?
Chad Sexton-Duranian, yes. All right, so welcome aboard, Derek. 3.2, reappoint Natalie Call to the American Flag Committee effective 3/6/2024 for a term to expire 6/30/2027.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Again, I had the proper paperwork that was submitted, so all those in favor?
Teresa A. Marsh, yes?
Joe Shank, yes?
And Chad Sexton-Duranian, yes. Again, welcome aboard, Natalie. 3.3, reappoint, I'll entertain a motion to reappoint David Fignoli to the Board of Registrars effective 3/6/24 for a term to expire 3/31/27.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. I did get something from the town clerk. And that looks all in order. So all those in favor?
Teresa A. Marsh, yes?
Joe Shank, yes?
Chad Sexton-Duranian, yes. 3.4. I will entertain a motion to appoint Colin Sinan as part-time intermittent season laborer to the Cemetery and Parks Department effective 3/6/2024.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No.
And I have all the paperwork that's necessary. All those in favor?
Teresa A. Marsh, yes?
Joe Shank, yes?
Chad Sexton-Duranian, yes. 3.6, I'll entertain a motion to appoint Veronica Kell as interim webmaster for the town of Townsend, effective 3/6/24, with a start date of 3/11/2024 until completion and integration of the revised website.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah, I thought as an interim position, this would just be until the vendor we hired started working.
Correct. We're going from Civic Plus to Revise, the new system. The new vendor is going to focus on getting Revise up and running, and Veronica is volunteering to pitch in just to get things posted, like when we need to post something live. So she's just going to do the day-to-day Civic Plus until we get Revise going, and then that's going away. So we can have the new vendor focus on just the Revise instead of on both.
So once the new vendor comes aboard, they're not going to do any work on the old system. Veronica will handle that, so there will be two people temporarily until
Yes.
revise is completely. Okay.
Correct, yeah.
I thought it was just until they came on board, and then they were gonna work on the integration. And
No, they're
bring it up.
gonna, Veronica is just gonna do the day-to-day posting stuff, like the meeting minutes and all of that kind of stuff, the agendas or whatever she does for, the webmaster does.
Okay.
And then the new vendor is going to be working solely on getting everything over to the new website. And then once the website becomes live, then Civic Plus, it goes away.
Okay, and how many hours did we put in for that position?
I think it was 6, wasn't it, Eric?
Yeah, I think I think the vendor's in for 6. I think we put down Veronica as 5.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Teresa Marsh, yes?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes.
And you missed.
I did miss
3.3.
one, yes.
Okay.
3.5, going back a little bit. I'll entertain a motion to extend Teresa Walsh as temporary office accountant to the water department effective 3/6/2024 until 9/5/2024.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that?
No.
No?
No.
All right. All those in favor?
Teresa Marsh, yes?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. Okay. And still 6:14. Eric, you want to do your 4.1, the town administrator evaluation? I guess this is where, help me out here. We just this is what we signed. Did you sign a copy? Because I realized, Sabrina, that I had taken the copy that I had signed. Did you have another one here? So this is the one that we need to have signed with Eric. Okay,
I don't have another copy.
you didn't? So I'm gonna give you this.
No.
Okay. And how does this work, Eric? Do we have to do a vote? We already voted, we already agreed to it, so.
Yeah, well, I think now that it's finalized, there would be just a formal vote to accept the signed, or will be signed copy of the town administrator's evaluation that everybody's reviewed and signed, and then obviously the comments or questions about it.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion or comments?
Oh, I appreciate Eric's response to our comments. If you'd like to.
No, I appreciate the feedback that the various members of the board have given me. I will certainly take the comments to heart and do my best in the upcoming year to make sure that we are all kind of pulling in the same direction for the town. And I certainly hope that everybody can feel free to reach out to me at any time with any questions or concerns that you have. And I'm just I'm happy that we're all working together and moving forward.
Yeah. I
Thank you.
agree. Joe, anything?
No.
Okay. I basically had my comments when I did the review with Eric. The work that we've done thus far. This is a second review. I mean, we've done a lot of stuff in the last couple of years, and I'm very proud of all the work that everybody's done in it with where we are now and where we're hopefully moving forward to. So I appreciate all of everybody, not only you, Eric, but the whole team has worked really well together. That includes Sabrina as well. 4.2, review and discuss constable policy.
So I can just, I guess, start the conversation, but I
Absolutely.
didn't find out. So, I happened to be talking to, well, actually, a constable in, the town, and it came to my attention that, and I don't know if it's a town policy, I meant to check it before this meeting, but I didn't, or if it's a Massachusetts policy, but there is a Cory check, or at least required to become a constable, and my understanding is it's a repetitive type test. I don't know if it's 1 year, 2 years, or whatever. And they have to pay out of pocket, and it's over $100 to take that test.
Mhm.
So there's years that you could actually make, small election years and stuff that, especially when we had 3 or 4, that she made less money than it cost her to become a constable.
Right.
So I'm wondering if we can look at that policy and make some changes there.
Do we know how much that is?
I am not sure what the exact cost of that is.
Do
Do you know what the fee is on that?
The cost,
What do we, and they have to pay for their Cory out of pocket, correct?
in
Or
more than once?
Do we pay for the Cory as well?
I don't believe that we pay for it as the town. We wouldn't. I'm sorry, we wouldn't be paying for it.
the constable policy is on the SharePoint, so it is listed in there.
And what is the compensation for it? Do you know that, Teresa?
No, I'm gonna have to pull up and check it.
I believe it's the amendment that Teresa is talking about. The $150 fee.
Okay, so the original was adopted in '84, and you're talking about the new one that we adopted in 2023.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that's the updated one listed here?
Right there, the fee with the R&B check.
yeah, the constable application process and enroll policy.
And I think it's also part of that membership that they have to pay, that's all part of that they have to pay annually. That brings us up to the $100. So I don't think the Corys are that alone.
Yeah, I think a Cory is $25 per request.
Okay, so it's maybe, there's some other costs that were involved. Is there a membership that they have to be a part of, or just the Cory?
That's just the application fee for the R&B check and the administrative work necessary for covering a 3-year term.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Cory and the R&B check and everything that goes with it.
In the RMV check?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think what the real issue is the fees that constables can bring in are set by statute. So they can't just charge whatever they want. They can only charge what the statutory amounts that are in the statute. And the
Mhm.
statutes say, so like if they have to serve a summons, it's $30. If they have to attest to a writ, it's $5. For preparing and service a notice of sale, if the constable has to do it, it's $50 plus travel. And for posting a notice of sale, it's $20 per travel. But I think that the rub is these fees at the state level have not changed in a very long time. And so they're no longer, how to put this politely, they're no longer sufficient to support if we're charging a $150 fee and they're not making $150 in fees, then it's costing them money to be a constable.
Right. So, Teresa, what would you suggest?
well, my concern is, my suggestion would be that we pay the fees, but I'm not sure if we should, if it's after they get accepted. Because we've also have situations where a person's done a query, or for some reason, that was the deciding factor that they didn't become accepted as an acceptor.
Mhm.
Do we want to take on that responsibility? So, but I don't know how you would do that, pay them and reimburse them, like, I don't know the function, how to make that happen.
So the $150 fee, Eric, is that because of the, is this part of the test that you're talking about that they have to take?
I don't think
According to this, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go
According to
ahead, go ahead.
It's a 150 application fee payable to the town of Townsend, covering the 3 years, and they have to do that every 3 years. So I'm not exactly sure what the town of Townsend does with that money.
We have to request a check from the RV at the quarries,
Yeah, but that's $25.
and then the administration fees that go with it.
And then the other part, I don't think you should have to pay that fee unless you get accepted. Like, I don't think that should come first. Well, I don't think you should pay it, but I don't want somebody that would make a good person say, oh, I'm not gonna do the 150 in case I don't make it, right?
Mhm.
So I guess I'm going back and forth on this, but I think we should just eliminate. I don't know where that money exactly is going, and I think considering, what they can get hasn't gone up. I think it's ridiculous for them to pay that much. Maybe start by lowering it if you think it's too much to take off the book, but it's $150, and right now we got $150 every 3 years, and right now we have one constable. So I don't think it's gonna hurt our budget too much to eliminate it.
Yeah.
Mike?
What do you think, Joe?
Well, my opinion is, I think we charge the 150, as long as they get accepted, we reimburse them the $150. I think Teresa's made a point that, I mean, I don't think we can just eliminate it. I don't believe in eliminating it. I think they have to show good faith that they want to do their part on it. Charge them. Once they become a constable for the 3 years, then we reimburse the $150. I think it's simple mathematics.
And yeah, my only reason why, my one concern with that is with the limit of constables we have is, are you willing to spend $150 if you don't know you're getting it back? Is it gonna keep somebody who would make a good constable from even wanting to take the chance?
Right, and that's kind of where I'm wondering too.
That's why maybe somewhere in the middle, maybe we can go to like $50. Somebody might not be so hard to take a $50 risk.
Mhm.
And if you make a constable, you get it back. If you don't, it costs you $50 to apply for a job.
Right.
So, that's where.
If
we
they want the
could-
job, I think if they want the job, I don't see anybody in that dire need that they couldn't put the $150 up to do a very important job. And if they get the job, get the position, we return the money. I mean, you lower the fee to $50, what kind of people are we attracting? So.
So Joe, just to provide a little bit of background, prior to October of 2022, we didn't have any fee. So the $150 fee has only been in there for a year and a half. So prior to that, there was not a constable application fee. I think the town realized, or believed, the board believed that that they wanted to have a little bit more oversight of who was coming in, and so they wanted to have background checks and query checks, and that meant staff time and us submitting things to the state, and so they didn't want the town to have to pay for it. But it has the pendulum. Did we swing the pendulum too far in the other direction to where we're now being? It seems like the people who are willing to do it, this is too much. Is there a more reasonable thing that we could swing back to and say, let's find out what the actual cost of the RMV record is and the actual cost of the Corey is. And if you submit us the money to pay for those things exactly, and if they fail, we keep your money. And if they succeed, then we've got a constable. That might be more kind of, I don't know. That's maybe something to think about.
So my question on that, Eric, is there's no such thing as, well, maybe there is, but what do you mean if you fail? Because it's up to us to decide what we are accepting after that card.
Sure.
Right? It's not, there's nothing that says if the Corey came back that he had fraudulent checks when he was 18, that we can't still make him a constable, right? There's nothing state mandated that would be on the Corey that the person could fail.
That's true. I mean, I was, you're not incorrect. I was speaking in the fact that,
Right.
generally speaking, when people run Corys, if something comes back on the Corey and it's not clean, it's considered a fail. I mean, the board, that's generally what I meant. But you're right. There's no pass fail on this.
We have the option when somebody comes in, instead of taking $150 to them, I don't know, because it's almost like a job interview. Do we have the option to say to them, look, we're going to run a background check, do all of this on you. Can you tell us right now, have you had this, drunk driving or anything that would make us not consider him for constable, and tell him not to proceed, or explain to him that this is going to be done. It's going to cost $150, and if any of these things come up, if you know what I'm saying. Like, instead of having it, because if he fails, right, we failed him, right? So he can come back and say, you made me spend $150 and you're not letting me do the job.
Yeah. Well, I think my thought is that let's find out what the actual cost is for the Corey and for the RMV. I think the police are also involved in it too, aren't they, Eric? Don't they do something?
I don't believe that the police do anything now, unless they're the ones who run the RMV check for us. I'm not sure if the police are involved at this point.
The chief of police or other official having charge of the police shall, upon request, give the select board all possible assistance in making such investigations.
Right. So if we wanted to do a more in-depth investigation, we can request that the police do it, or like I said, they may be the ones that we're running the RMV checks for. The fact of the matter is, I don't think we've gotten any applications.
Yeah.
So, Chaz, I'm reading the paperwork that yourself and Teresa put this $150 thing in almost 2 years ago, year and a half.
Mhm.
Why, I guess I'm asking, why did we put this in, and why are now we trying to take it away? I mean, we didn't have a policy for years, and we always had, to me, it always seemed like we had a lot of great constables at the voting booths and stuff like that. So I don't know if this $150 deterred people from coming, but you two guys put this policy in effect. So Teresa, I don't know where you're coming from now.
Well, I'll tell you, Joe.
Let me finish, please. Let me finish. You put this in effect, and now you're sitting here saying we're doing things wrong. So I'm just asking a question as a new person. I wasn't here when this was done. So why are we going back and forth with this?
Because I was approached by two constables, one who left because of this policy, and said the same thing to me. You put this policy in effect, and I re-looked at it, see that we've lost 2 constables. I don't know of any other constables that we have applying, and the current constable that we have is one of them that came to me. She saw that I signed it and asked why was the reason. I went back to tried to find on, what do they call it, YouTube?
Yeah.
And I did find like sort of the end of the meeting, but it wasn't in there. So I couldn't find exactly, but I'm sure at the time it was presented by Veronica and she had some very good rationale.
Yeah, we had a meeting with the police chief too in regards to it, because there was some change in the duties of the constable. And that was going through,
And I think at the time, they thought there was gonna be increase in fundings that they could get and
Yeah.
whatever. So at the time, I remember thinking, like, that's an awful lot, but they were like, oh, but there's gonna be this change and that, and they would have changes in their position.
Yeah.
But that never
the
occurred,
changes did not happen.
and they do not have any way to make up this money, and $150 is a lot to a lot of people, a lot of good people. It's not, a small amount.
So the fee, Joe, is something that we put on because we were paying for all of it. Whether they got hired or not, we were still paying for the quarry and paying for the RMV.
And I get that. I mean, we've had no fee whatsoever for how many years in the town of Townsend? We've changed it to $150. Now we're not bringing anybody in. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we can kick this can down the road. If we need constables, and it is a tough time out there for everybody, I don't care who you are, what you're doing, $150 is a lot of money. Just amend this policy, go back to what we had, but bring the police chief in just to confirm, because I do remember sitting in one of those meetings that the police chief did have some concerns. So before we do it, let's just make sure all of us are on the same page, have the police chief confirm it, and go back to the old way.
Go ahead, Eric.
No, I was just saying, I also think that there was some, I'm reaching back in my mind, I think there were some issues in the news about, at the time, about constables who were not in Townsend, constables who were exceeding their authority and acting as though they had full police authority in places.
That is correct.
And there were some concerns by the board about, if we don't have a policy in place that puts some sort of background check or some sort of threshold in front of someone, are we going to get people sign up to be constables that we're afraid we're going to act in ways that were inappropriate? So I think that's a little bit of the background, Joe, just to provide to you as to when it was, what was happening in the world when that passed. And that I think that was one of the things that triggered the board to have some concern about no policy at all, right?
Well, I would like to see that.
It was the impetus for us to have a policy because we didn't really have one before. You're absolutely right. That's why we did it. So, what about this? I would feel more comfortable about keeping the policy and adding that the Board of Selectmen may waive the application fee for any entrance for any reason or something like that.
Okay.
I have no
Or
problem.
the Board of Selectmen will waive the fee upon acceptance as a constable.
You could also waive the fee for renewals.
Yep.
So that if somebody's already been a constable for 3 years and the board wants to reappoint them, they don't have to go through the same hoops as a first-time applicant.
Yep.
I'm okay with that too. You okay with that,
Yes,
Teresa?
ma'am.
I think that would be the easiest and quickest way, Joe.
Yep, that's good. I'm good with that.
You're good with that?
Yep.
All right. So what I will do then, I will add that verbiage and then I'll give it to Eric and then he can send it out to the both of you before our next meeting.
Okay.
Yep. That'll be on the 19th, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's jump back up to 2.2, application for a one-day special license of Tavern 13 for Ladies' Day Out Market event at Birch House Botanicals in Townsend on 3/9/2024. from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m.
So,
Wyatt, I see you on there.
Yes.
How are you, sir?
Good. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. So do you want to,
I moved.
you moved? Do you want a
Second.
second, Joe?
I
Joe
did.
second, and then we'll discuss. Do either of you two have any questions in regards to this?
I just wanted, it didn't make it clear, and is it outside in this, is it botanical gardens? That's what I'm trying to think. Is it outside? And if it is, then I have concerns because we had issues with the other outside event. So is this in the facility or
Yes.
outside the facility?
This is inside.
Okay.
Where is the facility?
And Wyatt, we did receive the sketch on the inside. It looks like there are vendor tables, and then where Tavern 13 is going to be, it does look like it's on the inside, Teresa.
Okay.
It looks like there's 3 forms of egress as well. Wyatt, the reason why we're questioning this is that we had an incident that the area for the alcohol was not roped off, and we just wanted to make sure that, and it wasn't your organization that did. But I did check, Tavern 13 has all of their credentials, their certificate of liability, and I'm okay with what we have here.
Okay. There will be signs all around that state no alcohol beyond this point. So
Okay.
that will be provided.
Okay. Anything else, Joe?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Teresa?
I'm good.
So
Okay,
just
all those-
this is at the, I just wanted to mention, because I thought I heard somebody ask, this is at the Salt and Sage, which is the new store that's across the street from, over down near the bridge. What's the unfinished furniture store across the street?
Saddle shop.
Yeah, the Saddle Shop.
Yeah.
So, I thought I heard somebody ask. I just wanted to mention.
Yeah, that's been there for a long time. I remember going there when I was a little kid with my grandparents.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Yep.
A
So,
place with wonderful aromatherapy
yes,
upstairs.
wonderful aromatherapy. All right, all those in favor?
Say Marsh, yes?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. So you have been approved, Wyatt.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right,
You all
sir.
have, you all have a good night.
Thank
Good night,
you.
Wyatt.
6:41. 4.3, brief discussion on fiscal year 25 budget, prep for budget summit on March 9th. That sounds like you.
Yes. So, I just wanted folks to know the budget summit is, as we've discussed, it's this coming Saturday. It starts at 9. It's going to go till, the last presentations start at noon. It's going to be a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee. I sent around today copies of the omnibus budget to all the members of the Board of Selectmen, the draft. And the FinCom has that as well. I've been meeting with the various department heads about their budgets over the last few weeks, in an effort to try to, sharpen the pencils a little bit and get down to a budget that provides all the services that I think the town expects without putting kind of undue pressure on what's already a tight fiscal year. So in fact, that last budget, I actually got something from the fire department after that budget I sent out to you. So tomorrow I will send you out a further amended, updated budget with some changes to fire that lowers their total budget amount. I've tried to really get into the weeds with the departments about any increases that they're asking for. And so my expectation is that after the conversations they have with me, they're going to have a presentation to the board and answers for those questions that I know you're going to have about why some of these costs are going up. I've tried to get rid of the ones that I didn't think were justified. So the budget you have is other than fire, after folks have come in and talked about I've asked for some cuts. We still are waiting on the final North Middlesex school budget. Their vote is on the 14th, so that will be obviously the week before our special town meeting. I'm not sure. I don't have a clear picture at this point in time whether or not they intend to have any cuts to their budget that would impact the amounts that are currently in the draft budget that you have. But it's possible. It's possible that they're going to come in with some cuts, and the numbers might be less than what you have before you. I just wanted to know whether or not the board wanted any other information in preparation for Saturday. Is there anything else that I can get to you, provide you in preparation for this budget summit, above and beyond the documentation that there's the budget that we have? Is there anything else that you feel like would be helpful?
I'd like to see where the departments are percentage-wise right now in the current fiscal year.
Okay, I can. I think the last BVA was issued. Actually, I don't think we have the one for the end of February, so I'll talk to Katie tomorrow to see if she can possibly run that and send that out to us. So we'll have a look at that, and if she does, I'll make sure you all have it tomorrow.
That'd be great.
Well, that would get us through February, so eight out of 12 months, so 2/3. So you'd be looking at the magic 66%.
Right. So I just wanted to see how on target we are with where we're at, so that we know that we're at least heading in the right direction.
Sure. I mean, the reality is that I'm going to give Katie a lot of credit. She's been really on top of the departments about their budgets this year, a lot more than I think had happened when we didn't have someone sitting in the building. And so she is doing a great job trying to keep them in line and make them aware when they've got issues that may crop up towards the end of the year. So hopefully she's doing a really good job of bringing it to their attention so we can catch it before it becomes a crisis and requires us to make some sort of financial amendment in the special town meeting in May.
So, Eric, this ominous budget that was just sent out today that I printed out, I see it's almost $2.5 million increase. Most of that is with school budgets.
Correct.
I mean, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no way that we could make any numbers work with those numbers from the school. I know North Middlesex is one, and the Neshoba Valley is the second. The Neshoba one we have real no choice on because we're bringing extra children there. But, I mean, for me, I have a real issue to say we need to start cutting our budget where the school's going to keep increasing, and I can't justify, nowhere that I've read that I can justify saying we're going to give $1.5 million to North Middlesex. And I would hope to God nobody in this community would think that we should cut our public safety, fire, police, highway, anything to try. I get it, we got to support the schools, but God, there's got to be a little more give here.
Yeah, so Joe's exactly right. I mean, as he pointed out, that the total amount of increase year over year from FY24 to FY25 right now, again, in the draft budget, this is not final, the draft budget is $2,463,000. Now that's after a cut, because we were up over 3 million when I got the documents from the departments. So we were up over 3. So we've cut it down to under 2.5. Still, that's 2.5. Of that $2.5 million increase over last year's budget, North Middlesex is almost 1.6 million, and Neshoba Valley is almost 250,000. So you got of that 1.8 million of the 2.4 million is increases on the school side. So we are doing our best to try to make sure that our town budget is responsible. But you are right. I don't know what the answer would be if we had to absorb those, especially the North Middlesex. If we had to absorb North Middlesex costs into our budget right now, I don't have a plan as to how we would do that. It would be draconian. The cuts would be, it would be brutal.
Yeah, and
So-
I just don't understand. I mean, I got to make it very clear that, you know, there are two different budgets. You get the North Middlesex and the Neshoba Valley. And one thing we have to really understand in town is the increase that the tech is asking is because we are sending more children there. So we have no choice, but we have to pay that. If we send kids, the town's responsible. So I want to make that very clear, that people don't just go to town meeting and vote everything down, because I think it's a great, great asset to everybody, the tech school. They've done a great job. I like to see more blue collar people being out there.
So Eric, help me out here. So of the 1.6 million for North Middlesex and the 250,000 for Neshoba Tech, if we took that out, that means that the budget that we have for the town is about 2.7% over what we had last year.
I can give you that number in just 1 second. Hold on just a moment. I apologize. I didn't have that right in front of me.
Well, we've been discussing numbers for weeks now, so.
You never know it.
So that number is for some reason my account is not updating. Oh, I see what's wrong. Yeah, so if you take out the total of the 1.8 and it leaves a $600,000 increase. That's the town's increase.
Right.
So the $600,000 of a $28 million total line item, it's about, it's less, it's about 3% of the total budget. It's about,
Correct.
it's about 5% of the town portion of the budget last year between.
Right, so that includes the bargaining units. It includes all of the stuff that we had negotiated for the year.
Yes.
All right, so I just wanted to be very clear that we're looking at everything, and I don't think our budget is that drastically off, or where the town's budget is that off. The 600,000, it just looks to me like it's 2.7 to 3% more than what we had last year. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
All right.
And so running our revenue figures, we're not in a significantly different situation than we were last year with new growth and taxes. That's about $615,000 we bring in new revenue from taxes and new growth every year. So that's, we've got, that's what we have to work with for the entirety of the budget. That's the total amount. That's the challenge that we have.
And I'll just make it very clear that the increase that we're seeing without the schools is, most of that is from contractual agreements that we have to do with all the unions to take care of the employees, to meet the insurances. So I've heard out on the street that, we are frivolous in spending. I think all the departments have done a tremendous job working within the parameters that they have to and keeping as tight of a budget as they have to. But one thing we as a community have come to is we want the services that we have, and we become accustomed to the quality of that service. So we got to really think long and hard about how we move forward with this budget.
So Eric, actually, I'm seeing that what I would expect to see actually, that the significant increases like 9.9% are in health insurance, et cetera. You had highlighted the general insurance, at least in the spreadsheet that I saw, the general insurance, and you have it together with prop liability, vehicle insurance, and working comp. And that also went way up to went up significantly, 7.3. Is there a particular reason you highlighted that?
That only because that's an estimate. We don't have that final number at this point in time. So everything else is based on real numbers. But there are a couple of things that we're just working on estimates for. That's one of the things that's an estimate.
Are we getting any other quotes, Eric? I know there were some people that were interested the past couple of years. Have we gotten any then different than what we have, just one person bidding?
So that's something that we need to talk about as a board. If the board would like me, there's the individual who put in a quote last year has reached out, and it was actually in my TA updates to ask whether or not the board would like me to engage with another person to see, if we can get a competitive bid on the insurance rates, because it is still an estimated number.
Well, that would be a big yes for me.
That's a yes for me.
Well, I think that the individual who reached out last time did reach out again, so I did want to reach it with the board.
Well, that'd be awesome. I mean, wherever we can save some money, I mean, this is what it's about. I mean, the three of us sitting here do the best we can to keep this town running, and anywhere we can cut and save some money, that's what we need to do.
Understood.
Okay, so I think that, if you guys need anything else for Saturday?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay, so I will ask Katie about a BVA or up-to-date expenditures through the end of February, and then I will send out an updated, a further updated form of the budget once I get the fire department up-to-date information into it.
Okay.
Other than that, we'll see everybody Friday morning.
Friday morning.
Saturday morning. Sorry.
You did work better, but
Yes,
Goodness gracious.
Eric, I gotta let you know that I think you know, and everyone's aware, I am out of town, and I will not be able to make that Saturday, but I will be flying home for the special town meeting and flying back out. So I apologize for not being there, but the cost factor to fly back and forth for them meetings gets a little crazy.
So Joe, if you have a chance to look at that budget and have questions and you want to send them to me, I can make sure that they get asked.
Yeah, and I do. I have some questions I've been looking at, so yes, I appreciate it.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. So it's almost 7. I do see that Jessica's on. Do we want to jump right over to the 2024 DLTA?
sure.
Yep.
We could do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, we could actually, if you wanted to, we could probably get through the prudent investor thing before 7.
Well, I don't know. The way it said prudent, nothing that we
I know
can
that's
do
a
is
big
prudent
word.
that ever, if we can get it through real quick. So go ahead. We can go to 4.4, the prudent investment rule.
So this is a request that came down from the treasurer in consulting with our investment advisor for all the town funds that are kept on deposit. The general law chapter 44, general law chapter 203C is the prudent investor rule, which is, if you saw the attachment, it's a change that allows us to be more flexible with our investment portfolio than was formerly the case for municipalities. I think there's the opportunity in this climate where interest rates are high because of the way that the Fed has worked with the interest rates. There's an opportunity for the town to make some more money on the cash we have on deposit. And our investors think it would be a wise thing for us to ask town meeting to allow for us to do that prudent investing. And so this is just a request to put it on put a warrant article to allow us to adopt the Prudent Investment Act. And I think it makes sense. I think it's one of the things that the state was trying to provide us some more tools to make our money
Increase
work
it.
while we're having it on deposit.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, I'm good with that too. Teresa,
No problem.
she has no problems, so.
Okay, so we'll just put that as an article for the warrant, and that's all. We don't have to vote for anything. When the warrant is closed, or when we vote on the annual town meeting warrant, that will be a section that we'll talk about then. But we'll just put it on as a warrant article before the annual town meeting.
Are our investments done as an individual town? Or are we in a market?
I believe our investments are done individually. Yeah, we have an individual. Bartholomew is our investment firm that helps us with that.
Okay. And they're fiduciary?
I believe so. I don't know that for a fact though. I believe they are.
Okay, I'll check. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll jump up to 2.3, presentation of the 2024 District Local Technical Assistance Request for MRPC. And
Great
Jessica.
hustle. Great hustle on the
Hello.
platform, guys. Hello. Hope everyone is well tonight. All right, thanks for having me. So, MRPC, our regional planning commission, has sent out requests for towns within their district to request technical assistance, so the district local technical assistance. So this year they are taking requests for MBTA communities compliance, planning for growth, or planning for housing. So it's a pretty short list this year of requests that they will consider. So what I have done is proposed a brief request on the town's behalf for continued MBTA communities compliance assistance, and then also just a small section for planning for housing. So I assume you guys might have that letter request in front of you, so I will not read it verbatim, but the last 2 years we have had DLTA assistance for the MBTA communities. So I would like to continue that for another year, or at least through the rest of this calendar year. The current plan is to propose the overlay district and the bylaw language to the town to vote on at this fall town meeting. Initially, we were planning to have it in May, but I think it's just sneaking up a little bit too quickly for everybody. So we're going to push that back a few months. So through that point, we hope to continue to receive technical assistance for MBTA zoning. And then the second request that I would like to put in on the town's behalf is for planning for housing, to help better promote and allow for affordable and accessible housing for our blood relatives or those with limited incomes. So currently we have the accessory apartments bylaw and the special permit. So we'd like just to try to get a deeper dive into that bylaw language and any associated regulations and definitions that go with it. Looking to have a professional review to provide recommendations that makes the accessory apartment program a little more attractive to residents, makes eligibility less restrictive, and also helps applicants undergo a simpler approval process. we would like to get some professional input and recommendations on the affordable accessory apartment program portion of that bylaw. And then through all of this too, we'd really like to reach out to the residents that are actually already a part of this program to really get their feedback on it as well. So Joe, hopefully we'll reach out to you, but
Absolutely.
thanks. So for now we've had MBTA for the last 2 years already, so that's really nothing new. But for the accessory apartments, I think it's an overlapping topic amongst several of the town reports, the master plan and the housing production plan. And it does seem to be a pretty hot topic with the bylaw review committee right now too. So what I did was I really quickly went through the master plan and the housing production plan. So one of the main focus goals of the master plan is to review and revise bylaws related to housing and temporary accommodations to include motel, hotel density standards, transfer of development, multifamily units, and accessory apartments. So that's part of the master plan. And then the housing production plan just outlines multiple strategies and goals of that plan to try to implement over the next 5 years for the accessible dwelling or the affordable dwelling units. So I think just in hopes of getting things a little more progressive and attractive, it's listed as a regulatory barrier right now in the housing production plan. So we just really like to get some outside professional input on that.
Okay.
So my only question is that, how is that different than what we approved last week of, last meeting of hiring somebody to look at all the policies? This is just above and beyond, because I know we had said when we took them, if that was approved, that this is one of the policies we wanted first looked at. But
Policy or you're talking bylaws?
A bylaw, I'm
Okay.
sorry, yeah.
I
But that
followed
thing
you.
is, yeah, I'm sorry, that thing is gonna take like 2 years. Is this something that is just gonna be quicker or better to have done separately?
DLTA is done by calendar year. So this would ideally be done by the end of 2024.
Okay.
I know they're a little bit backlogged, so there is some rollover into the next calendar year.
Okay.
So my comment to that, Jessica, if you don't mind, is that it's free professional technical help,
Right.
and free is what we like, and we're doing really good with MRPC as
Right.
far as working on the MBTA communities compliance, and they've also helped us on many occasions with the housing that we have. So I think most importantly is for us to focus on getting the MBTA communities. Well, I'm going to speak for myself, Jessica, if you don't mind. We really need to target that because of what happened was it Milford or in a town where the town didn't.
Milford, I forget which one. Yeah.
Milton, it was Milton.
Milton, yeah, that they didn't accept the MBTA communities, and they're now not able to get certain grants. And a lot of our future town planning is reliant on a lot of grants at this moment. So if we don't really jump on the MBTA communities compliance and get ourselves in order, we're not going to be able to fulfill some of the goals that we've set aside for that. Number one, MRPC has been, and Jessica, because your department is doing a fabulous job getting that whole thing together for us. Which is by law for the state, we've got to get it going, and you guys have got a good grasp on it. Having said that, the next portion of this is that MRPC has helped us out both on the Housing Authority and on the Affordable Housing Trust side of it. And I think if we could get some assistance, not only with the affordable accessory apartment language, but to also see if they can help us out with what the housing authority needs to get together on their end, and if if anything needs to go through the Affordable Housing Trust as well. So if we can get that taken care of with this, I think would be good as well. But as a whole, I think this is a good ask, and I don't think that we're going to have a problem getting it.
No, I'm good.
And this,
Okay.
yeah, this is just sort of the request outline too. So, provided it's accepted, we would have a separate meeting, or me and Eric with MRPC to really outline a contract. So we would get a little more into the weeds on what our goals are. So,
Right.
um,
In the scope and all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm good.
So what would you like from us, Jessica? Just our blessing at this point?
Blessing, a signature, and for Sabrina to email it to Karen Chapman by 11:59 p.m., please.
We can do that. Any problems with that, Joe?
No, I'm good. You can use
May
my
we use
stamp.
your stamp?
Use my stamp,
Do
yes.
we need to-
Just draw like a little
Do we need a
cat or
vote,
something.
Eric?
I would say a vote to submit the DLT application as presented.
So moved?
Second,
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Chief Amos, yes?
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. There you go.
It's all on
Awesome.
it's all on Sabrina now.
Yeah, right.
No pressure.
All right, thanks, Jess.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great
Thanks,
night.
Jess.
Thanks, Jessica, great job.
Okay. 5.0, anything on ARPA projects? I didn't have anything on my short list. Joe?
Nope,
Eric?
Nope.
Teresa?
No, no.
Okay. 5.1, town administrator updates and reports.
Yeah, I don't have a lot more than what we discussed, but the bulk of my time over the last couple of weeks while I've been trapped here in my house has been on budget meetings with the department heads, and then working on the back end of the budget with revenue projections and information from the state. So that's been my my formal work for most of the time. As Joe had mentioned, we wanted to I wanted to talk about other issue, but you already brought it up, so we are all set. And I don't have anything else other than that.
5.2, reports from board liaisons. General government?
So the big thing has been the Green Community, the Energy Committee, and we have that municipals from Unitel that which we're getting straightened away, but we kind of missed out like $32,000 because the incentives have gone. So they're really concerned. This year they came forward, and like, for example, this the first one that has been announced is the round 2 for clean transportation programs, things like energy charging stations and decarbonation opportunities. And that grant starts at $500,000 and goes up to $1 million. If you pull together everything that was just announced on this news, there's over $1 billion in grants.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the Energy Committee, that's like where their focus is. They're trying to, but so I did reach out to Eric, and we're waiting to make sure that hopefully we'll have a grant administrator soon. And they'll be able to help with this. But I also need to, figure out, is there any other ways that we can assure we're not leaving money on the table? Because as you said, you like free money.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like the last step was lights, but this one, they have a lot of new things that are out here that could really bring some money into the community.
Yeah, that's Has that legislation been passed?
These are the opportunities, yes. This,
So they funded them then?
that funding.
Okay.
And the only other, I continue to be working, with finance. We had because of, we are gonna try for that municipal, Unitil for the muni buildings that change out the lighting. We did get less, the turnaround investment is less, but we still think it's worth investing the money in. Because especially, not only do you get the product and used for the investment, the kilowatt save the town dollars, but also with that, I was recently told, and I'm not 100% concerned, that kilowatt savings goes into our green community fund
Right.
and helps keep those funds going for the other grants.
Right.
So we can use, like Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
So they did try to add, the reason we have to meet again, we're meeting tomorrow night, is when we first presented to the board, it was 4 programs. They'd like to see if we can add the fire station. So the capital planning is meeting tomorrow night to discuss that, see if they want to add the old fire station. It's a very small, it's like an $8,000 cost, and I think it's $3,000 for us, $8,000 too. And the rest is picked up, but still, we have to vote on all the new numbers. We do have the 2024 numbers, so.
Okay.
And so that's a joint meeting with finance and capital tomorrow.
Okay.
And by law, we just keep trucking away.
Yeah, I see you guys I see the things popping up on YouTube. Elected boards, I've been actually very busy at my day job. But I have been keeping my thumb on the pulse in regards to what's been going through. I did want to go to the last planning board, but I was not able to make it. I was on my way back from Greenfield at that time. Water department's coming up. Most of my meetings are in the first of the month, so I don't really have much for the beginning of this month. Joe, public safety?
Public safety, I've dealt with fire, police, the new building commissioner. Fire and police, they're running very smooth. They're just very concerned on their budget, of course, as all of us are concerned on every budget in the town. So hopefully Eric has that magic wand that's going to help out, but we'll see how that goes. The building
I planted a
department.
money tree right out back, Joe. Right out back of town hall. I planted a money tree. Don't worry.
Well, have you been watering it though? So, and as far as the building department with the new building commissioners, things seem to be rolling real smooth. I get, daily updates here and there. I think that's working out real well. I hope it can continue. Other than that, nobody has any real problems out there.
Okay, good. Thank you, Joe.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
it came to my attention that we may have skipped over 1.5.
Yep, we did.
Do we have minutes?
No.
Yeah, I thought we said, maybe that was before the meeting starts. We have no minutes to review.
Okay.
We have.
I wasn't on when that happened, and so I.
Can we move these to next week?
They will be in our next meeting.
But I think we said that before the meeting started.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So
Anything else, Eric?
I also I did realize that I do have one ARPA request, which is Emmy Hoff, who is our director of our rec department, has been working really hard to secure grants for an outdoor gym facility to be placed in the lot behind town hall. She's been working on that for a while. She's actually secured a significant amount of money from private grant applications to go towards it. She has, out of her wellness allocation for FY22, FY23, and FY24, there is funds that are still remaining from those allocations that were not spent and are still in the ARPA account. She would like to dedicate those remaining funds. It wouldn't be a new ARPA dedication, but she would just like to use as the recreation's wellness expenditure to provide the ARPA funds as matching funds towards these private grants that she's obtained.
How much money is it, Eric?
Excuse me?
How much money is that she's asking to move?
So it's not a move. It's already in the wellness
Yeah.
fund for recreation wellness.
Right.
But this is a kind of a change in her plans for using it. She had been using those funds to provide hire individual people to come in and provide programming for recreation over the course of the year. She would like to terminate that for the rest of this fiscal year. I think she actually said she doesn't have plans for anymore for the rest of this fiscal year. And instead use those funds. It's about $65,000 to support the gym and the outdoor gym behind town hall. And so I told her that I would bring that up tonight, and I apologize. I forgot when we were at ARPA that I mentioned that I would bring that up. The funds are already there for wellness, and they were intended to be expended for the recreation department to provide wellness for the community.
That's within her wheelhouse, so.
And I think it did fall within her wheelhouse, but it seemed like enough of a change of plan that it needs to be brought to the board just so you're aware of it. And if the board has some concerns, to have a chance to raise them, or if the board's okay with it, then I think it's within that ARPA project already. We wouldn't have to do any kind of change or reallocation because it's for the wellness funds are kind of a wide, they're very broad in their expenditures for recreation.
Well, and it 100% fits in the ARPA guidelines too.
That's true.
So.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm good with that too. Teresa?
Fine.
Okay, I'll let her know that the board doesn't have any concerns, and I'll share that with Emmy and allow her to move forward with that proposal.
Right, and then we just need to make sure that that's locked down, right?
Yes, it's one of the things we're working with a consultant about is to make sure we're locking down all of our ARPA funds so that they're not subject to being reclaimed by the federal government. So that's
Correct.
the agenda as well.
Right.
And I apologize. That was
we don't need to do the reallocation, or do we need to do reallocation? No, it's already in the fund, so.
No, it's already in the wellness funds. We already have used wellness funds for a gym before. When we built the gym for the fire station for the public safety folks.
Yeah.
So it's within the wellness component of ARPA. This is more or less letting the board know that those funds are being expended in that way under wellness, and that's kind of something I think is appropriate for to be.
Yep. Okay, we good with that?
Yeah, I'm good.
5.3 announcements.
So I had one, I wanted to spread the news that there is many of the women veterans know about it. There's been a completion of what VA, DAB, a whole bunch of units have got together. It's over 500-page report from, I think it went from 2020 to 2021 survey of women veterans. The report is out. There's some things that many of us women veterans knew that I think might shock some other people. I highly recommend that you take a look at the quick glance and see if we can get it posted. But the most significant thing that, as I said, many of us veterans knew that nearly 4 times higher percentage of increase in suicides. Excuse me, it's 4 times higher than it was taken a few years ago. So between 2020 and 2021, the increased 24.1%. And the other thing that, again, I think a lot of us women know, but might necessarily, I think, shock some of the people in this survey, more than 50% of the deaths of the women veterans were by firearms. injuries, which isn't typical behavior. So we are asking fellow veterans, if you know anybody in crisis, please reach out. We do have a veteran service office here. Reach out to your local mental health providers. Soon there will be a similar like the 988 number. There's going to be a special women crisis line for women's service members, especially those experiencing issues with MSG. So more to follow, and we'll get this posted.
Good. Yeah, we can put this on, in the announcements on the webpage too, I think.
Take down the other thing.
Anything else? Sabrina, I didn't see anything else in the communications, no. 5.4, next meeting. That would be Saturday at 9 a.m. That's 3/9. After that, we have 3/19 at 6 p.m. and then our special town meeting at 3/19 at 7 p.m. 5.5.
Can I just ask a
Yeah,
question
sure.
about the meeting? So the special town meeting that we're having at 3/19, I know there's a presentation from both Neshoba and from North Middlesex, but is anywhere, are we going to be able to explain, or is there any, or in their presentations, do you know, to explain what a Proposition 2.5 override means? Is that part of the presentation?
That's a good question, because that's something that I think we really need to delve into. What are your thoughts on that, Eric?
And so I'm trying to think.
I can't tell you how many times I've been asked, well, how's it going to affect my paycheck if like Neshoba does get their override?
Yeah, I mean, so we can, so the presentation on Neshoba Tech, if the board would like, we can try to put together some of those numbers and kind of explain in general what a Prop 2.5 override is and the specific impacts of each particular override. The presentation doesn't say it's going to be just by Neshoba Tech, so we could do a presentation during that part.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Teresa, that if we had some sort of informational session on what the 2.5 means, what it encompasses, because there's a lot of, I'm also hearing a lot of things that aren't really what Proposition 2.5 is. So I think a little education maybe.
We can do also maybe a one-page primer to hand out.
Yeah.
And then so they can look at that while we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And just, maybe, something that if Neshoba goes and that money's there, this is about what it's going to cost per household in taxes. And if North Middlesex goes, this is what the increase. Everyone's asking that. How much is it going to cost? So I think at this point, we should have an idea, at least give a presentation or tell the people sitting there what at least a rough number. Might be $100 a quarter or $500, we don't know. But I think that's a number we need to have.
Okay, I can talk to, I know that last year when we were talking about a potential override last year up until the town meeting, I know that I sat down with Vicky and I worked on that. So I think I'll call her tomorrow and see if we can work, actually Friday, I think she'll be back in the office. She's done this tomorrow. But I'll call on Friday and see if I can get that information from her. And we can put like a primer, like I said, a sheet of paper for people to look at and give a little presentation that night.
All right, thank you.
Thank
you. 5.5, I'll entertain a motion to review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Say Marsh, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chaz Sexton-Duranian, yes.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
7:27.
7:47.
27.
Second.
37.
All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Say Marsh, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chaz Sexton-Duranian, yes.
Okay.
All right, we're
We're done.